morning, everybody. I'm glad once again I'm part of SHARE conference. I want to thank the organizer. I think I go right away to the presentation. We are all architects and designers. As an architect, we are expected to design buildings and objects. But what if we are asked to design a box of piers? And what if we are asked to design 10,000 piers? Shall we give each pier a different design? Or shall we design only one pier and copy the rest? Nobody expects piers to be similar and equal. Maybe they should be similar, but not exactly equal. There is another solution, a third way, and that is nature's solution. And it's kind of using natural algorithms to define some qualities in piers and to have this quality in all the piers in the box. This is what nature does. Look at these piers. They are not symmetrical. They are not identical. They don't have a definite geometrical shape. They are unique and unrepeatable. This is the quality in natural form, being unique and unrepeatable. The same quality we can see in these handmade objects, handmade potteries. These handmade potteries, they are also unique and unrepeatable. And this quality, I call it approximation of form. As you see on the left side, exact geometrical shapes, sharp edges, and precise form, and identical objects, they are appreciated only during industrial era, when there was an urge for producing more and more. But now, today, even in mass production, we do customization and humanization. And this is the subject of some of my projects, and the project I'm going to explain today. My office is most known with this project, which is low-budget residential in a middle-class area of Tehran. The special feature of this project was its brick facade. The brick facade is made by hands of unskilled workers, and it's totally a handmade texture. These workers were supposed to lay bricks in steel bars. This is a totally dry brick facade. I brought it again here because the place of each brick and the projection and hollow spaces, and to some extent are to the workers. The workers decide about that. To some extent, they were free to decide. But they had a limited and defined freedom. The project I'm going to explain today, House of Approximation, has a wooden facade, consists of 3,000 wooden pieces. Each piece is handmade, and each piece is slightly different from the other piece, with somehow organic shapes. This project is now under construction. It's designed last year. It will be finished in a few months. The land is very small. It's something like 225 square meters. It's very narrow, 8.5 meters wide. It's also located in a middle-class zone in Tehran, in west of Tehran. In Tehran, you can occupy 60% of land to the north, and in most areas, you can build up to 5 stories. This land is located in a residential area and is surrounded by all 5-story residentials. In Tehran, buildings are evaluated by square meters of area. You know that. But my client, who was a chemist, he wants the project for his personal use, and he only needed 2 floors, one for him and one for his daughter. I suggested him to make a duplex for him, a duplex for his daughter, and another flat to make parties and such socializing with friends. You know, all the clients like to build up to 5 floors. This is a father's duplex, daughter's duplex. The fact that the client wants the building for his personal use made this project interesting to me, because in Tehran everybody builds for sale, just to save. You know, almost everybody is in the market of construction except architects, dentists, lawyers, and merchants, even small merchants. They are all in the business, and you know, they lead you to standard flat apartment, which has nothing special. So there is no place left for creativity. This house is an exception. In this house, I could keep distance from the silly rules and regulations. You know, Tehran is a very tough city. Is a tough context. First of all, we have very serious air pollution, especially in winter. Now that I left Tehran, schools were closed and all the institutions were closed. This is the only solution that authorities suggest, just closing everything. And beside the pollution, we are located in seismic area in Tehran, and we have really silly rules and regulations. Imagine if you want to make the ceiling higher, just to add quality to the space, then you are against law. If you want to design a slope-roofed on the last floor with skylights, you are against law. If you want your elevator to stop on every floor of the duplex, it's not allowed, then you are against. And there is also a committee for facade design. This committee should accept your design, and they only accept mediocre designs, and if anything is not familiar for them, they reject. In this house, I tried to, despite the tininess of the land, I tried to create various spaces and various way of exploring the space. This is training the client that we all do, but we are not get paid for. I had long negotiations with him to, you know, he has his own taste, I had my preferences. But during the negotiations, I learned about his interest in nature. And he was talking about the plants he cultivated in his office. This is his own office. And plants he had in the rooftop. And at the same time, I was imagining putting plants and trees everywhere in the facade and on the rooftop. The main concept of this house is driven by a green line. A green line, which is a vertical garden, which starts from the courtyard, cuts the facade into 2 parts, and goes all the way to the rooftop. During the past years, urbanization and development of the city have rid all the trees in Tehran. The consequence is birds living with the citizens. Birds lost their dwellings. This is a very small project. It can do nothing for air pollution, nothing for birds of Tehran, but I think it can be a symbol of protest, and if this kind of design become popular in Tehran, maybe it helps air quality and coming back the birds. I always believe in butterfly effect. Okay, let's play that. Would you please play the video? It shows the formation of the concept. The green line which cuts the facade into 2 parts. We have a vertical garden in the middle. We have 2 kind of big trees will be planted on 2nd floor and 4th floor, and then a row of trees on the rooftop. As I said before, one of the concepts was creating a small habitat for bears. In Tehran, something like 180 different species of bears used to live, migrant bears and local bears. But nowadays, we cut all the trees just to build more and more, and we created problem for the birds. In Tehran, people used to have bird cages in their terraces and on the rooftop. Birds were a part of Persian gardens through the history, and in Iranian miniatures, you can see in ceramic tiles, decorated ceramic tiles, you can see birds. Birds in Tehran are canaries, mynas, parrots, and you can still hear the sound of birds when you go to mountains of the north. After I revealed the idea and I talked about my concern for birds' habitat, one of the fun pages in Iran, their business is making fun of architects, put this caricature on their websites and illustrating birds' invasion. So the facade is divided into two parts. One part is wooden texture. Another part is a vertical garden with living plants and living trees. The function of this wooden texture is to reduce the harsh sunlight we have in our climate and to provide privacy in the terraces which are behind this wooden texture. This is a common solution in hot and arid zones in southern Iran. These wooden lattice terraces, even you can see in Arabic countries in the south of Iran. In Europe, they call it mashrabiye. Would you please play the video? It shows the way and the mechanical system that opens the facade. These are the models through the design process. Would you please play? This is the first model. Shows the openings. And here is where the story of human approximation begins in this project. These are some tests for facade pieces. I tried to make them different by minimum human touch. There are, as I said, there are 3,000 pieces of wood. We cut them in different sizes, approximate sizes, between 22 centimeters to 30 centimeters, and with approximate angle. And after that, the wood are brushed to bring out the natural vein of the wood. And then this is the test for color. And there are two ways of performing a wooden facade. One way is doing it exactly and accurately with advanced technology and machinery, cut them with machines. And the second way is involving the workers for valorizing human approximation in the process of construction. Everybody knows that the handmade facade is more precious, handmade objects are more precious. Today, at least today, we think like that. But one may say that these processes may become so expensive, more expensive than machinery. I'm coming from a country with a long history in craftsmanship. In Iran, the hourly wage of workers are still not so high and not higher than doing it with advanced technology. So we can still make benefit of using workers during the process. And I think natural materials should be used in their natural way. I want to take a reference to a quote from a Norwegian architect. Once he said, "Natural materials are alive when they are in nature. When we detach them from the nature, we kill them. So we should give their life back by the way we use them in the building. Here they are brushing the piece of wood to bring out the natural vein and to make it rough. This was the most challenging part I had with the client for convincing him why I want all the 3,000 pieces being slightly different. He was not convinced. He had right. And through the conversation, talking about piers and potteries was part of the conversation. So finally, we reached to this point. We agreed on this shape. In Iran, it is not like that you design something and another company comes and do all the details and you can rely in a facade company. There is no such a company in Iran. You should go yourself through all the details. I used to go several times to this factory, which his real job is not making a facade. They do parquets and floorings. But I made them to do a different job, and I should say that the workers were so happy because when I went there, they stopped their routine and the routine work, and for the first time they were doing something creative, and they were doing it with love and consideration because they were thinking that this is a part of a bigger artwork, and they are making an artwork. They had freedom in doing, in shaping the head of this piece of wood. And all the details of this project were especially designed and made, even the steel brackets that fit inside the wooden pieces. You cannot find anything in the market. You should make it all yourself by workers and artisans. I tried to explain all the different treatments and all the different steps. These are wooden timbers. Naturally, they are in cubic form. We made it like this, cylindrical. And then step 2 is cutting the wooden pieces with different size from 22 centimeter to 30 centimeter. And shaping the head with varying angles. And here we have sanding and brushing the pieces to make it look more natural. And here we are creating 2 holes in each piece for inserting the steel bars as a support, and creating a vertical groove to place them steel bracket. These are the pieces after coloring. The client didn't like this black color. He liked 2 minutes, okay. Inserting the metal brackets and inserting the metal bars, and after that installation of the facade. Okay, I will pass this. This is a mock-up we just made 3 days ago on the facade as a test and to see if there is a problem. But every piece and every detail is just made for this. There's a short movie, if you can play, about the process. Thank you.